This is the worst thing about the Aygo. Let me explain why. As regulars of the channel know, I love my Aygo. I make videos about it, so it's kind of self-evident, but what might not be are the things I really love about it and really hate about it. Now, hate is a strong word here, but let's run with it. First on the list is that infuriating clutch. I think when Toyota were making the Aygo, they must have thought, let's just make that clutch out of cardboard. I mean, good lord, it can be a challenge and is still one of my biggest bugbears about the Aygo Mark II. You might be thinking, it's just me. It's just little old Jamie. But it's not. A quick look on the Toyota owners forums and it's littered with similar observations about the high, vague bite point of the clutch. And my observations are coming from someone who has driven 5,000 miles on the thing and still stalls on the odd occasion. Those odd stalls, by the way, seem much more prevalent than my previous Audi A3 that had a real pinpoint sharp bite point and ease of use. And if you're wearing shoes with a bit of a sole, you'll definitely run the risk of stalling the Aygo. Plenty of revs will also be needed on the hills to avoid this too. Of course, most of the time the Aygo clutch is quite serviceable and there are things you can do to mitigate the unwanted stalling. For example, make sure the height of the seat is on the lowest setting possible. That way you're more pressing the clutch away from you rather than feeling like you're stamping down on it. A few people also on the Toyota owners forum have recommended reclining your chair a bit, just so that you might just feel a bit more comfortable than you normally do. Another thing I dislike about the Aygo Mark II is the comfort of the seats, especially on long drives. I remember having the Aygo for a short time and someone on the older end of the spectrum commented that they suffered from lower back pain, especially on long drives. And it wasn't something I noticed immediately, but after 5,000 miles, you do. You really do. I'm in my 30s and I definitely feel the lower back pain on long drives. So much so, actually, that I've gone out and bought a lumbar support seat just to mitigate that. The level of discomfort I feel might be because I do a fair few miles to work every day, 2-hour round trips to be exact. People who use the Mark II for shorter trips might not notice it, but it's something I've certainly noticed over time. And if you're an Aygo owner, drop a comment below sharing your opinions on whether you find the Aygo comfortable enough or not. Moving on to more positive shores, the thing I love about the Aygo the most is its size. I have genuine delight looking for tight parking spaces that have been left between some hulking SUV drivers who just don't care how or where they park. It gives me the perfect opportunity to squeeze in and, to this tight parking spot that most cars will overlook, because let's face it, most cars aren't as diminutive as the Aygo. That small size, by the way, still feels really usable on the inside too. In previous video, I explored how I managed to fit all the stuff I had in the boot of my A3 into the Aygo, so even though it is small, it punches well above its weight in respect to what you can actually store in the car, which I absolutely love. Another positive, which I love just about as much as the first, is how cheap and reliable the Aygo is to run. I haven't had to change anything on it in 5,000 miles, and let me just go through a few of the footnotes here. It cost me about £30 a week in petrol, which is £20 cheaper than my previous car that costs £50 a month to run on diesel, and that's covering the same mileage. To insure for the year, it cost me about £350, which is about £150 less than the Audi, and that's with me having 2 years, no claims. And tax is an even better story because this particular Aygo from 2014 to 2015 is currently free to tax, whereas the Audi was £165 for the year. Another area I'm saving in is actually servicing costs, simply by virtue of the fact of service frequency. Toyota recommends you service the Aygo every 10,000 miles, whereas my Audi wanted it every 6. So by the time you've hit 24,000 miles, the Audis need 4 services, whereas the Aygos only needed 2. And it's quite fuel efficient too, managing to reach 49 to 50 miles per gallon on average based on my driving style and the distance I cover. All in all, I absolutely love the Aygo, and although there are things I would definitely change about it, overall I do love the little thing. And if you want to see not only how fuel efficient it is for me, but also how I make the most of the limited space in the Aygo, these videos are for you, and I'll see you there.